Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber and this is Top 5s, the only weekly Top 5 show in snowboarding where I will give you my personal picks. That's right, these are my top 5 snowboards that I would buy for 2025. Number 5, the Stranda Mackerel. Now, it could have been the fact that it was just a really good pow day when I got to ride this and the conditions lined up, or it could be that the board is actually just that good, but with that full fish shape to it, with that long pointy nose and that taper that comes back and then it kicks up. This board was just a blast for riding all kinds of pow, whether I was in tight trees, lower flats, steep terrain, it didn't matter. I could just go as fast as I wanted, push off that tail, keep the nose up, and porpoise along, or just slash a turn, zip through the trees, and even when I got on a groomer, it still held an edge really well. It was just one of those boards that I got on and I was like, damn, this is like way too good for what it is. And I know a lot of you are like, what the hell is Stranda? And I'm like, it's a Swiss snowboard company with boards made at GP87. The deck is solid, the company is solid, I've had a blast riding their stuff. This is just one of those boards that not everyone's gonna have, but when you get on it, you're gonna go, oh shit, this has been missing from my life. Number 4, the Ride Kink. I have ridden just about every variation of the Ride Kink all the way back to when it had the denim top sheet on it. Anyone remember that? Yeah. I've ridden it with rocker, I've ridden it full reverse, I've ridden it with camber. This is the best version of it. Full camber, slim wall. Decent side cut. It rails a turn when I absolutely need it to in the park. It's got that edge hold from that slim wall. It's easy to slide, it's easy to pop, it's easy to press. It's just a good twin park board that does what you need it to do. There's no bells or whistles to it by and large. You just sort of get on it and you're like, huh, does what I need it to do. It just felt like riding an old school twin cambered park board, which I like that. I'm old, I'm 41. I might be 42 by the time you see this list. I don't know, I could also be dead by then, but that's another story. This thing is just that good. Like, I got on it and was like, damn, this shouldn't be this good. Like, some years the Kink is better than others, and you're like, okay, it's just a twin park board, you know, it'll get the job done, it's serviceable. This actually stood out. It stood out a lot to me with how well it actually rode. Number 3, the Salomon Assassin Pro. Salomon redesigned the Assassin series, and the difference between the regular and the Pro is very noticeable with how it rides, and the Pro was solid. It's got amazing snap, it's very responsive, it's very easy to get in the air. It carves the best out of any Assassin, and believe me, I've been riding them back since, God, before it was the Assassin, with whatever that model was. I can't even think of it at this point, what the name was of it. But I've been riding this board now for over 10 years, and I've ridden every iteration of it. And when I heard that they had redesigned the shape and the flex and everything, I was like, okay, yeah, it's probably still gonna just be a middle of the pack board. Nope, not anymore. No, this really stood out. Like, this is good, and there is noticeable differences between the regular and the Pro. Like, the regular, good for a solid intermediate and up. The Pro is for a more advanced rider that really understands the nuances of a board. I mean, Salomon makes great stuff. I mean, they've been doing it since the late 90s, so you'd hope that it's dialed in, but this is what this board absolutely needed. Okay, so we're about halfway through this video. I honestly don't really know where we are, but I need you to go down and give it a thumbs up. You know who you are, you know what you need to do. And for those of you that haven't subscribed, right over here, go subscribe, click that bell, get that notification. That way you're not missing any of the programming we've got coming out for you. We don't make content anymore, we make programming. That's how many videos we've made for you this year. Number 2, the Rome Stale Crewzer. This got a little bit of a revamp, so it redefines itself from the Stalefish or the Stalefish. And it was just a board I got on and I was like, okay, it's above a Warden, it's below a Stalefish, It's butterable where I need it to. It holds an edge. It's got insane pop to it. Rome boards have insane pop. And it was just good all over the mountain. Like, I just had a blast ripping around. I was just carving, hitting side hits, went in the park a little bit, hit a few features, slid it sideways. I was like, I could see myself riding this every day. And that's what I was looking for when I was making this list, was like boards that I could see myself riding every day, even if it is for select conditions, whether it's powder, whether it's groomers, whether it's just hitting the park. And this was just one of those ones that I was like, I could see myself riding this every day for everything if I absolutely had to. Honorable mentions, all great options, but just barely didn't crack the top 5 of this list. The Nitro Alternator. This board's just so much fun. Like, you get on it and you're like, damn, what are the limitations of it? And I still have yet to find them. Every time I get on this board, I end up with a smile on my face. I'm very happy with it. It's easy to engage on edge. It's got solid snap. It'll float and pow. It'll still go hit the park. It's kind of just that quintessential rad dad all mountain free ride board. The Capita Mercury. I've had a love-hate relationship with this board the last few years. There's things that I love about it and things that I hate about it. I don't know what it was with this version. Maybe it was the purple base and it was the aesthetic that got me. I don't know. But I just got on it and was like, man, it always feels like a board that I've ridden for 100+ days. And then there was that 1 year or 2 years where the side cut and the flex didn't match up and it felt twitchy. This time it didn't feel twitchy. And that's what I was looking for. I was like, wow, this kind of feels like 2 versions ago. And that was my favorite version of the Mercury. And so I got on it and I was just riding it. And the whole time I'm like, something's a little different. And I was like, oh, it's not twitchy. That's slow speeds on firm snow. And that's what I was feeling with it. I'm not saying it couldn't be twitchy. I'm just saying I didn't feel it this time. And I was like, yeah, this board, this is like you're going to do a bit of everything. Capita decks are in front of you. This is the one you grab because you might go smash pow for an hour in the morning. You might go groomer cruising with the lady or the kids. And then you want to go hit the park in the afternoon with the boys. You can. Final honorable mention goes to the Rossignol Resurgence. Rossignol makes good snowboards. Horrible boots and bindings. Good snowboards. They make really good snowboards. And the Resurgence is one of those. The tip kick, the camber profile with its combination of camber and rocker, they all work in conjunction with that side cut. It's just a good board that you get on and you're like, you feel like you've been riding it and you just feel consistent. Like there's no break-in period with it. You just go out and you rip it and it's good. That's what I liked about it. It just felt consistently good. It was a board that if it was the only thing available, I wouldn't have a bad day, whether it was a foot of snow or I was riding bulletproof ice on the east or it was slush in the spring with the boys. Now, like I said, these were all great options, but they just barely didn't crack the top 5 of my list. Like what we're doing over here? Want to support us further? Swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. And my #1 personal choice for awesome 2025 decks is the Libtech Rad Ripper. Now, I know a lot of you are like, holy crap, a Libtech made it to #1 for Avran's personal choice. Yeah, I know. Blew me away too. I honestly looked at the graphic and I was like, oh, Marble Madness, cool. This reminds me of 1989. And I'm looking at it, and I go, okay, it's got full camber because, you know, Mervin's now got 14 or 16 camber profiles, and it's just got a good side cut to it. I got on it, and I was like laying trenches. It just felt like a solid cambered snowboard, and there's a decent amount of camber to this, so you could really push into it and apex the carves, snap out of it, but then, you know, you'd flat base, you'd go in, you'd hit a roller, and you'd pop to the moon. Is it probably going to break in relatively fast? Yeah, I think it will, but it was just like this old school board that didn't have that old school dead weight to it. It was still lively. It didn't feel like old Libtechs to me. And Devin Tubbs from Mammoth, who works at Wave Rave, he had a hand in designing this, and it shows. Like, it shows his style. It does everything. This thing was just chef's kiss. Like, you guys did a great job with it. I was joking with the rep and I go, you know, I'm honestly thinking like this is the board I want to buy for next year and ride. And he's like, seriously? And I was like, I got to see what else is out there in terms of versatility, but this is a top contender. Like, I could see myself riding it every day. Like, yeah, I'd ride it in the ground. I'd probably only get 1 season out of it just because the way I am with stuff. Plus, I really don't like tucked edges. I know I'm going to hit some shit and that's going to pull out, but the Rad Ripper was just crazy good. Like, the whole time I was just thinking to myself, I was like, this is it? This is possibly the best Libtech board I've ridden in the last 10 years. And I've ridden a lot of their stuff. This has been my top 5 snowboards that I would ride for 2025. Yes, this is my list, so we don't even need to debate it. Are you buying anything off of it? Cool. Leave me a comment down below. Let's discuss which one you like the most.